really just about creative learning in the classroom with tablets. There seems to be this evolution in our teaching that teachers are moving towards student-centered classrooms and creative learning environments. There's this magical moment in the classroom where a child sits down with nothing in front of them, a blank canvas, and they create something out of nothing that informs and entertains people, and that kind of activity is just very powerful learning. So I've been lucky enough this year and for the end part of last year to take part in a trial in my school, in the only class in my school at the moment that has devices on a one-to-one basis. Every child in my class has a Samsung tablet. We're running on Android. And so I'm thinking to myself, look, I want a classroom that is full of creative learners. How do I use these tablets to achieve that? And that's really what I wanted to talk to you about. Sorry, revised my note. So the main thing with tablets and the main danger or the pitfall is to see them as a means of consuming consuming content. And there is definitely a place for using your devices for research and using them for watching a video or any other kind of consumer product. But the real power behind them comes when children use them to create their own content. And I just wanted to talk to you about how I've done it, really. Not that I've done a great deal, but I've had one or two successes, and I really feel that my classroom has changed. Children are that much more engaged. One example is this project work that I do with my class. It's something that I do without tablets anyway, but using tablets makes it that much more effective. Gets so many more strings to the bow of their creativity. So I just want to quickly run through it. I'm thinking of, I've done several of these examples. One in my HUC topic of who will buy. Children were given a fictional company to a fictional fast food chain, and they had to be responsible producers for that company. I split it's a general template that I use for all these kind of project work, but I split kids into four and give each child a specific role. So one child would have to make the new packaging. Another child would be in charge of heading up the advert that would go along with the campaign. Another child would come up with promotions using Google Drive. These children then collaborate on their ideas. They'll meet frequently, they'll brainstorm, and this all happens over the course of about 3 weeks. And eventually then it all kind of culminates in a presentation. In science, we have, say we're doing a science experiment, I'll have one or two children in charge of taking photographs, another child doing a video. All those videos and all those images are then popped into a shared Google Drive, and then all the other children can then go out and take them. The children will then create anything from like a slideshow using Animoto, which is images kind of punctuated with text that will tell the story of our science experiment. Or they will use those images, put them into a note-taking app that can embed a video and can embed images, annotate over them, and tell the story, as I put it in the classroom, tell the story of what we're learning and what we've done. So, looking forward to what tablets are going to be doing in the classroom, if we're going to be seeing more and more tablets in the classroom. How can this technology of teaching be used to optimize learning? How can we create creative learning environments? How are these apps being developed? Is there any teacher input into their development? And I've seen today, I've forgotten Emma Clements, I went into her blogging seminar, and the children that she had presenting there, they're using all these different apps that are creative. I've got slides all together, I'm just talking. It was basically this, I didn't want to put down a list of all my favourite apps and everything that I'm doing, but just one or two of my top apps, and it's not about the apps particularly, because you can research your own, you can go and play with whatever you can. The main message that I'm trying to give you is one of use these devices for the children to be creative, because when you're creative you have this personal relationship with, or when you've created something, you've made it. So there's no better way for you to engage in your understanding than to explain what you understand, and that's what creating content is all about. So what I do is I get excited and I make things, and then I feel like I own them and I feel like I understand them. There's just thousands of apps out there, really. Well, that's really the only useful slide I've got. It's just that they're all about finding your apps that make something. I'll quickly tell you what they do because I think I've got some time. But Pick Collage basically makes a collage. You can put in images, you can put in badges, you can put in text. So you're doing a project on an influential person. I think we did it on Fred Hollows. You know, within 40 minutes, the children have made a Fred Hollows presentation, a one-page presentation. Any note-taking app on my Samsung device, I know I'm kind of in the minority, but on Notes or Papyrus is a third-party app that I use. It's fantastic for that kind of thing. You write all over the picture that you've put annotations. Animoto is great, but you could probably do the same kind of thing in any iPhoto or iMovie. You know, you put together a slideshow basically with captions or with text. Comic Strip, it creates a storyboard, very basically, does a few other things. Sketch, which I think a lot of people know about, they just changed their logo to this new arrow. Again, it's all about annotating over your images, or I've used it in maths also, where we've annotated over a map and we've had to give our directions to X, Y, or Z place. And then finally, the camera, video, and video editing apps that children have used for a number of creations, from creating their own video when we've interviewed Florence Nightingale, or if we're doing, say, a QC project or a science project, and they want to make their own journal about our story, about our experience of what we're learning, they'll make a video, or they'll share parts of their video, they'll edit it together, and it's been great. So I don't have a huge deal of experience doing it just yet, but what I was asked to come in here and talk about was just to share my experience of suddenly being given these devices in a classroom, and what's the best use I can make of them is I can get the children to create a whole bunch of different things, and that's what's exciting to me.